When most traders sit down in front of their charts, they think they're looking at the market itself, a set of candles, patterns, and numbers moving up and down. But here's the truth. The chart doesn't actually show you the market. What it really shows is a reflection of your own mind. Think about it. Two traders can look at the exact same candlestick pattern. One sees a golden opportunity, while the other sees a dangerous trap. The chart hasn't changed. What changed is the interpretation. And that interpretation is always filtered through personal psychology, fear, greed, impatience, or discipline. If you're nervous, every small red candle looks like disaster. If you're greedy, even a weak setup suddenly looks like a jackpot. The chart itself is neutral, just data on a screen. But your emotions turn that neutral data into a story. That story, not the chart, is what drives your decisions. This is why trading feels so different for each person. You might believe you're studying the external world, but in reality, you're looking into a mirror. Every click of the mouse reveals less about the market and more about how well you can manage yourself. Until you accept this, you'll keep chasing signals and indicators, if thinking the answer is out there. But in truth, the biggest battleground is inside your own mind. Imagine two traders sitting side by side, staring at the exact same chart. The candlesticks are identical, the levels are the same, even the strategy they're using is no different. Yet, by the end of the session, one ends with profit, while the other walks away with a loss. How can that be? The difference is not in the market, it's in the mind. Trader A sees the breakout, enters calmly, and sticks to the plan. He places a stop loss and accepts the risk and lets the probabilities play out. Trader B sees the same breakout, but the moment price pulls back a little, panic sets in, fear hijacks his decisions. He closes early, re-enters late, and eventually loses money. This happens because emotions shape perception. The chart itself is neutral, but one trader views it through the lens of patience and discipline, while the other views it through fear and doubt. The same data creates two opposite stories, one leading to steady execution, the other to chaos. This is why results differ so much among traders. Success doesn't come from seeing the right setup. It comes from managing emotions so that your mind doesn't distort what's really on the screen. Most traders believe the secret to success lies in reading the market. They spend hours studying indicators, candlestick patterns, and price action, convinced that if they analyze deeply enough, certainty will appear. But here's the truth. The market never gives certainty. It only gives information. What turns that information into profit or loss is not the chart, it's how you respond to it. That's why the best traders don't obsess about predicting the next candle. They obsess about managing themselves. Success in trading is less about having the perfect system and more about having the discipline to follow whatever system you use. It's not about predicting every move, but about reacting consistently, no matter what the market does. Think about it this way. Two traders can learn the exact same strategy from the same book. One thrives, the other blows up. The system didn't change. The market didn't change. The only difference was self-control. The winning trader had the patience to wait, the discipline to cut losses, and the humility to accept being wrong. The losing trader let fear, greed, and ego take over. In the end, your greatest edge isn't your strategy, your setup, or your charting skills. It's your ability to master yourself. Because once you control your own emotions, the market stops being your enemy. It becomes just numbers on a screen, waiting for you to execute with discipline. Many traders believe that if they just find the perfect strategy, success will automatically follow. They think the right combination of indicators or the best entry signal will guarantee profits, But the reality is far less glamorous. Two traders can use the exact same strategy and still end with completely different results. The difference isn't the system, it's the way they execute it. Imagine two traders both applying a simple breakout strategy. Trader A follows the rules exactly. He waits for confirmation, manages his risk, and accepts the outcome without interference. Over time, his consistent execution allows the probabilities to work in his favor. Trader B, on the other hand, uses the same rules but constantly second-guesses himself. He jumps in too early, exits too soon, or increases risk impulsively. Instead of letting the strategy play out, his emotions override the system. This shows why strategy alone is never enough. Execution, the act of applying the plan with discipline, is what separates winners from losers. A flawless system in the hands of an undisciplined trader will fail. Meanwhile, even a simple system in the hands of a disciplined trader can succeed. So, when traders obsess over searching for new indicators or secret setups, they miss the real point. Success doesn't come from finding something new. It comes from executing consistently what you already know. Discipline is the invisible line that separates winning traders from losing ones. On paper, two traders might look identical. Same strategy, same charts, same risk rules, but in real trading, one ends the month in profit while the other burns through their account. The reason is simple discipline versus panic. The disciplined trader treats every trade as part of a larger process. He accepts risk before entering, places a stop loss, and lets the probabilities play out, even when the market moves against him. He doesn't abandon the plan. Losses don't trigger emotional reactions because he knows they are inevitable and manageable. Over time, this steady approach builds consistency, and consistency builds profit. The panicked trader, however, reacts to every fluctuation. A small pullback feels like disaster. A losing streak feels like the end of the world. Instead of following his plan, he cuts trades too early, chases after losses, or increases position size recklessly. Panic hijacks his system, and what looked like a solid strategy on paper becomes chaos in practice. This is why trading is often described as simple, but not easy. The rules are easy to learn, but hard to follow under pressure. Discipline is what allows a trader to stay calm when emotions scream otherwise. Without it, even the best system collapses. With it, even an average system can succeed. In the end, it's not the market that decides who wins. It's the trader's ability to remain disciplined when fear and chaos strike. One of the biggest misconceptions in trading is the belief that the market creates emotions. Traders often say, "This market makes me nervous," or "The volatility stresses me out." But in reality, the market doesn't create anything inside you. It only amplifies what's already there. If fear lives in you, every red candle looks like danger. If greed dominates you, every small rally looks like an opportunity to get rich. The chart itself is neutral. It doesn't care about your feelings, your account, or your goals. What you see in the market is a reflection of your own psychology, projected onto the screen. This is why two traders can face the same price action, but experience completely different emotions. One stays calm and rational, while the other panics or overreacts. The difference is not in the chart, but in the mind interpreting it. The key lesson here is simple. Don't blame the market for your emotions. Instead, take responsibility for them. By working on yourself, building patience, discipline, and self-awareness, you reduce the amplification effect. The calmer you are inside, the less power the market has to shake you. One of the core skills that separates professional traders from amateurs is the ability to accept risk and cut losses quickly. Every trade carries uncertainty. No matter how strong the setup looks, there is always the chance it will fail. Winning traders don't fight this truth, they embrace it. Before they enter a position, they decide exactly how much they are willing to risk. They place a stop loss, not as a sign of weakness, but as protection against the unknown. If the trade works, great. If it doesn't, they exit swiftly, take the small loss, and move on without drama. This habit keeps their account safe and their mind clear. Losing traders, on the other hand, resist losses. They take a red trade personally, as if it's an attack on their intelligence or self-worth. Instead of closing the position, they hold and hope. Sometimes the market bails them out, reinforcing the bad habit. But eventually, one trade keeps going against them, and the damage becomes catastrophic. The truth is simple: cutting losses is not failure. It's discipline. It's a way of saying, I respect my capital more than my ego. Professional traders know survival is the priority. By protecting capital, they ensure they are still in the game tomorrow, ready for the next opportunity. Accepting risk and cutting losses quickly isn't about avoiding pain. It's about preserving the ability to play the long game. That mindset is what turns trading from gambling into a profession. Most traders struggle not with entering trades, but with holding on to winners. The moment a position goes into profit, the urge to secure it becomes overwhelming. They close too early, taking a small gain, only to watch the market keep moving in their favor. This lack of patience slowly kills long-term profitability. Professional traders understand that patience is as important as discipline. They know that one big winner can cover multiple small losses, but only if they allow the trade to develop fully. Instead of constantly checking every tick, they let their plan run its course. They place a target, trust the setup, and resist the urge to interfere. Cutting winners short is just another way of letting fear control decisions. Fear whispers, what if it reverses? What if I lose this profit? But by acting on that fear, traders sabotage their own edge. The irony is that true safety comes not from grabbing quick gains, but from trusting the probabilities over time. Patience to let profits run is not about greed. It's about consistency. It's about giving your strategy room to work. A small win feels good in the moment, but a fully realized trade builds lasting growth. In trading, many people believe the real power comes from advanced tools, complex indicators, or insider knowledge. But the truth is far simpler. The greatest strength a trader can have is self-control. Markets are unpredictable. No matter how good your analysis is, there will always be surprises. The difference between those who survive and those who fail is not who predicts better, but who controls themselves better. Self-control means resisting the urge to overtrade, avoiding revenge trades after a loss, and staying calm when volatility spikes. Think of it this way. Every trader feels fear and greed. Even the best professionals are not immune. But the winners have trained themselves not to act on those emotions. They acknowledge the feelings, but they don't let them dictate action. This ability to pause, breathe, and stick to the plan is what creates consistency without self-control. Even the best system eventually fails. With self-control, even a simple system can succeed, because in the end, and the market is not testing your strategy, it's testing your ability to master yourself. One of the most famous experiments in trading history is the story of the turtle traders. Richard Dennis, a legendary trader, believed that trading could be taught. He gave a group of complete beginners the same set of rules, a mechanical system for entries, exits, and risk management. The idea was simple: follow the rules, and anyone could succeed. The results, however, were surprising. Some of the turtles became incredibly successful, turning small accounts into millions. Others failed, even though they had the exact same rules. The system didn't change. The market didn't change. What changed was the psychology of the traders using the system. Those who succeeded trusted the rules. They stayed disciplined, executed without hesitation, and accepted losses as part of the process. Those who failed broke the rules under pressure, second-guessed themselves, or let fear and greed override the system. The lesson is clear: the edge is not in the system itself, but in the trader's mind. A set of rules is only as strong as the person applying them. In trading, psychology isn't just part of the game, it is the game. The successful turtle traders weren't the ones with the most intelligence or financial background. In fact, many of them had little to no trading experience before the experiment. What set them apart was their ability to remain consistent and follow the rules exactly as written. These traders didn't try to outsmart the system. They didn't second-guess every signal or adjust rules on the fly. Instead, they trusted the process. When the system said enter, they entered. When it said exit, they exited. Losses didn't discourage them, and wins didn't make them reckless. They treated every trade as just another data point in a long series. This kind of consistency requires humility and discipline. It's not exciting to follow rules day after day. It's not glamorous to accept small losses repeatedly. But over time, this steady application of rules compounds into significant results. The lesson is clear. Success in trading rarely comes from brilliance or complexity. It comes from the boring but powerful habit of doing the right thing over and over again. The trader who can remain consistent under pressure has an edge that no system can provide on its own. Not every turtle trader succeeded. Even though they all had the same rules, those who failed had one thing in common: they broke discipline and let emotions take control. Instead of following the system, they second-guessed the signals. When fear struck, they skipped trades that fit the rules. When greed took over, they added extra risk or jumped into trades too early. After a string of losses, frustration pushed them to abandon the plan entirely. The system itself never failed. Their psychology did. This pattern is not unique to the turtles. It plays out in the markets every single day. Many traders know exactly what they should do, yet they can't bring themselves to do it. Knowledge is useless without discipline. A written rule is worthless if you don't have the patience and self-control to apply it in real time. The failing trader's story is a cautionary tale. Success is not about how much you know, but about how well you can execute under pressure. If emotions hijack your decisions, even the best system will collapse. In the end, trading doesn't punish ignorance as much as it punishes lack of discipline. If you want to understand how professional traders think, look not at Wall Street, but at Las Vegas. Casinos don't gamble. They operate with probabilities. Every game in the casino, from roulette to blackjack, is designed with a small, statistical edge in favor of the house. That edge might be just a few percentage points, but over thousands and millions of plays. Titre garanti, profit. Casinos don't panic when a player wins big. They don't shut down the roulette wheel after a losing night. They know the outcome of any single game doesn't matter. What matters is the law of large numbers. As long as the rules are enforced and the house edge is maintained, profits are inevitable in the long run. This is exactly how winning traders think. They don't expect to win every trade. They know losses are part of the business. Just like occasional jackpot winners are part of the casino business, instead of chasing perfection, they focus on consistency. Each trade is just one play in a much larger series. The losing trader, on the other hand, acts like a gambler at the table. They want to win every hand, every spin, every trade. When one loss hits, they panic, increase their bets, or abandon their system. That desperation destroys them. The key lesson is this: trading success doesn't come from winning every time. It comes from having a small to repeatable edge and applying it over and over again. Like the casino, the professional trader survives not by luck, but by probabilities. Most losing traders behave less like professionals and more like gamblers at a casino table. They sit down with the mindset, I must win now. Every trade feels like life or death. Instead of thinking in terms of probabilities, they place each trade as if their entire future depends on it. When a trade goes against them, panic takes over. They close too early, double down recklessly, or chase the next setup in desperation to recover losses. When a trade goes in their favor, they often become overconfident, increasing risk beyond their plan. In both cases, their emotions, not logic, dictate their actions. This short-term, gambler-like mentality is what destroys accounts, just like the gambler who believes one lucky spin will change his life. Losing traders believe one big trade will make it all back. But the market doesn't reward desperation. It punishes inconsistency. The irony is that this gambler's mindset feels exciting. Every trade gives an adrenaline rush. Every profit feels like a jackpot. But excitement is not a trading edge. Over time, these impulsive decisions pile up into heavy losses. True trading success requires detachment. Professionals don't treat one trade as decisive. They know the goal isn't to win right now, but to execute correctly again and again. The difference is clear. The gambler craves immediate victory, while the trader plays the long game. The best traders operate much like a casino. They don't rely on luck or emotions. They rely on discipline and probabilities. Every trade is treated as just one play in a much larger series, not a make-or-break moment. Like casinos, successful traders are patient. They don't need to be in the market all the time. They wait for setups that align with their edge. Just as casinos wait for players to step to the table, they don't chase action for the sake of excitement. They are also consistent. Just as the casino never changes its rules after a bad night, the disciplined trader doesn't abandon his plan after a losing streak. He trusts the process, knowing the edge will only show if it's applied again and again. Most importantly, they don't let emotions drive decisions. Wins don't inflate their ego, and losses don't crush their confidence. By staying calm and objective, they avoid the destructive cycle of fear and greed that traps most traders. In the end, trading like a casino means shifting from a gambler's mindset to a business mindset. The casino always wins because it sticks to its edge with patience and discipline. The trader who adopts the same approach gives himself the best chance of long-term success. Discipline in trading is not about being right all the time. It's about sticking to your plan, even when the market tries to shake your confidence. Every trader has faced the moment when a position moves against them and the temptation to abandon the plan feels overwhelming. But the traders who succeed are the ones who stay disciplined in the face of uncertainty. Imagine you've set clear rules for a trade entry point, stop loss, and target. The market begins to move slightly against you. Fear whispers, cut it now before it gets worse. Greed whispers, toggle down. This one will turn. Both voices push you away from your plan. Discipline is what allows you to silence them and trust the process. Successful traders know that one trade does not define them. Sometimes the market will hit the stop loss. Sometimes it will reach the target. What matters is that they follow their rules consistently over hundreds of trades. Discipline allows probabilities to play out and edges to show. The undisciplined trader, on the other hand, constantly bends the rules. They move stop losses, exit early, or change targets on impulse. This inconsistency destroys their edge and leads to chaotic results. True discipline is not rigid stubbornness. It's the ability to follow a well-thought-out plan, regardless of emotional pressure. In the long run, this steady approach is what separates professionals from gamblers. Patience is one of the most underrated skills in trading. Many traders feel the constant urge to be in the market. They believe that if they're not in a trade, they're missing opportunities. But the truth is, forcing trades is one of the fastest ways to lose money. Professional traders understand that not every moment is worth risking capital. The market offers endless noise, but only a few high-quality setups. Patience means waiting for those setups that align with your edge, even if it takes hours, days, or weeks. The goal isn't to trade more, it's to trade better. Think about a sniper. He doesn't shoot at every movement in the field. He waits for the perfect target, sometimes for hours, with full focus. One well-placed shot is worth far more than dozens of random ones. Trading works the same way. One good trade executed with patience can be more valuable than 10 impulsive trades. Impatient traders often jump into mediocre setups just to do something. They confuse activity with progress. But the market doesn't reward activity. It rewards discipline and precision. Every unnecessary trade exposes capital to risk without increasing edge. Patience is not passive. It's active restraint. It's the ability to say, "Not yet," until the odds are clearly in your favor. In the long run, traders who master patience not only protect their capital, but also maximize their returns by focusing only on the highest probability opportunities. Many traders believe that the more complex their strategy, the better their results will be. They add layers of indicators, complicated formulas, and endless rules, hoping that complexity will equal profitability. But in reality, a simple strategy executed with discipline will outperform even the most sophisticated system if the trader behind it lacks consistency. Think about this. A simple moving average crossover strategy can make money if followed with strict risk management and patience. On the other hand, an advanced algorithm with dozens of signals will fail if the trader overrides it with fear, greed, or impatience. The edge is not in the system's complexity, it's in the trader's ability to stick with it. Complex systems also carry another danger. They give traders excuses. When things go wrong, instead of looking at their behavior, they blame the system, add more rules, or chase a new indicator. This cycle keeps them distracted and prevents them from mastering execution. Professional traders know that simplicity is powerful. A clean, repeatable plan leaves less room for hesitation and error. When the rules are simple, the challenge shifts from analysis to discipline, and that's exactly where success is built. The real question is not how advanced is my strategy, but how consistently can I follow it. In trading, a simple plan with strong discipline beats a complex plan with weak discipline every single time. One of the biggest traps that destroys traders is the dream of getting rich quickly. Many beginners come into the market with unrealistic expectations, turning a small account into millions in a few months, quitting their jobs, and living the trader lifestyle. This fantasy is powerful, but it leads directly to reckless decisions. Chasing quick wealth often pushes traders to over-leverage. Instead of risking 1–2% per trade, they risk 10%, 20%, or even more. A few wins make them feel invincible, but eventually, one bad trade wipes out weeks or months of progress. The market punishes greed far more brutally than it rewards it. The desire to get rich fast also makes traders impatient. They enter trades that don't fit their system just to make money today. They force setups, ignore risk rules, and convince themselves that shortcuts exist. But in trading, shortcuts always end in losses. Professional traders take the opposite path. They aim not to get rich quick, but to get rich slow. They focus on consistency, compounding, and risk management. They know that trading is not a lottery ticket, but a long-term business. Ironically, by letting go of the obsession with fast money, they give themselves the best chance of building real wealth. The truth is simple. The market can make you wealthy, but not instantly. If you chase speed, you'll blow up. If you embrace patience and discipline, the results will come naturally over time. One of the most common reasons traders blow up their accounts is their refusal to cut losses. Instead of accepting a small, Manageable loss. They hold on, hoping the market will turn back in their favor. Sometimes it does. And this false victory reinforces the bad habit, but eventually, one trade keeps moving against them. And the loss grows until it wipes out their account. The logic behind this mistake is emotional, not rational. Closing. A losing trade feels like admitting failure. Many traders see it as proof that they were wrong, and their ego can't handle it. So, they avoid the pain of being wrong by holding the trade, even as the pain of mounting losses becomes far worse. Professional traders see it differently. For them, cutting a loss is not admitting failure. It's risk management. It's a way of saying, I protect my capital first. They know losses are part of the game. And the only way to survive long-term is to keep them small. The refusal to cut losses is why so many traders experience the same story: small wins. Small wins. Then one huge loss that destroys everything. The lesson is simple. You can survive endless small cuts, but one fatal wound ends the game. The key is to close wounds quickly, before they become lethal. Another major reason traders fail is ego. Many don't just want to make money, they want to be right. To them, every trade is not just a financial decision, but a personal battle with the market. Losing a trade feels like losing face. This ego-driven mindset creates dangerous behavior. When a trade goes against them, instead of cutting the loss, they double down to prove they were right. They move stop losses, add more positions, or hold indefinitely, waiting for the market to validate their opinion. The longer the market disagrees, the more stubborn they become. Eventually, the market wins, and their account suffers devastating losses. Professional traders understand the opposite truth. Being right doesn't matter. Making money does. They detach their identity from their trades. A losing trade doesn't mean they are failures, it just means the setup didn't work this time. By keeping ego out of the equation, they stay flexible, adapt to new information, and preserve capital. The irony is that the market doesn't care about anyone's opinion. It doesn't care who's right or wrong. It simply moves. Traders who attach their ego to predictions are fighting a battle they can never win. The lesson is clear. Drop the need to be right, and embrace the need to be disciplined. The trader who values survival over ego will always outlast the one who tries to prove himself to the market. One of the key differences between losing traders and winning traders is what they focus on. Losing traders obsess over the outcome of every single trade. To them, each position feels like a personal test. If it wins, they feel smart and confident. If it loses, they feel stupid and crushed. Their emotions swing wildly with each result. This short-term focus is dangerous because it blinds them to the bigger picture. Trading is not about one trade, or even 10 trades, it's about hundreds, even thousands, executed over time. A single win or loss means almost nothing in the long run, but losing traders can't see beyond the immediate outcome. And that narrow vision keeps them trapped in cycles of emotional highs and lows because they focus only on results. They also tend to break discipline. If a trade wins, they might get overconfident and increase risk recklessly. If a trade loses, they might panic, skip the next setup, or chase losses impulsively. Their behavior becomes reactive, not consistent. And this inconsistency destroys their edge. Winning traders, on the other hand, don't measure success by individual outcomes. They focus on process. Did they follow their rules? Manage risk, and stay disciplined? If yes, then even a losing trade is considered a good trade. This mindset shift reduces emotional swings and builds long-term consistency. The lesson is clear. Obsessing over each trade's result keeps you stuck. Focusing on the process sets you free. Winning traders see trading very differently from beginners. For them, every trade is not a personal test of intelligence or worth. Instead, Each trade is just one data point in a long series of outcomes. They don't label trades as good or bad based on profit and loss. A good trade is one that was executed according to the rules, regardless of whether it made or lost money. This process-oriented mindset changes everything. By focusing on execution rather than outcome, successful traders free themselves from the emotional roller coaster. A loss doesn't feel like a personal failure. It's just feedback. It tells them whether the strategy is still valid, whether market conditions are shifting, or whether they simply hit a normal losing streak. By treating trades as data, they are able to analyze objectively. They track results over dozens or hundreds of trades, searching for patterns, strengths, and weaknesses. If the system works, the statistics will show it over time. If adjustments are needed, they are based on evidence, not on one emotional reaction to a single trade. This is the exact opposite of how most losing traders behave. Beginners often judge their entire skill set on the last trade. If they win, they feel brilliant. If they lose, they feel hopeless. This short-term thinking leads to impulsive changes, broken rules, and inconsistent behavior. Professional traders know that consistency comes from trust in the process. They understand that no system wins all the time. But if they follow their edge with discipline, the probabilities will play out. In this way, each trade becomes less about money and more about maintaining the integrity of the process. The paradox is simple. The less you obsess about the result of each trade, the better your long-term results will be. One of the most dangerous traps in trading is attaching personal identity to trade outcomes. Many beginners see a winning trade as proof they are smart and capable, while a losing trade feels like proof they are stupid or unworthy. This mindset creates an emotional battlefield, where self-esteem rises and falls with every tick of the market. But here's the truth. The market doesn't care about you. It doesn't care if you're a genius or a beginner, whether you deserve to win or not. It simply moves. Wins and losses are not reflections of your worth as a person. They are just feedback on a system applied in a certain market condition. Professional traders understand this deeply. They don't take wins personally, and they don't take losses personally. A win is not a reason to inflate the ego, and a loss is not a reason to feel worthless. Both are simply data points, signals that help them refine their process. By keeping their self-image separate from their trading results, they stay calm, objective, and consistent. Attaching self-worth to outcomes also fuels destructive behaviors. Traders who feel validated by wins often become reckless, increasing risk to prove themselves further. Those crushed by losses may avoid trading altogether or take revenge trades to restore pride. In both cases, ego, not logic, is in control, and the account suffers. The healthier approach is to treat every result as neutral feedback. Wins show what works, losses show what doesn't. Neither defines you. Your value comes from discipline, consistency, and growth, not from the outcome of any single trade. When you stop measuring yourself by wins and losses, you gain the freedom to trade with clarity. The market is no longer a judgment of your worth, but simply a field where you apply and refine a strategy. One of the clearest differences between amateur traders and professionals lies in their motivation. Amateurs often come to the market chasing excitement. They want adrenaline, the thrill of placing trades, and the emotional highs of quick wins. To them, trading feels like a game, or even gambling, something that entertains as much as it promises money. This mindset is dangerous because it fuels impulsive decisions. When the goal is excitement, traders seek action, not discipline. They overtrade, chase volatile moves, and ignore their rules in pursuit of fun. While this may provide short-term thrills, it almost always leads to long-term losses. Professional traders, on the other hand, treat trading as a serious business. They know it is not about entertainment, but about execution, risk management, and consistency. They don't need to be in a trade every minute of the day. They wait patiently for setups that fit their edge, then execute without emotional attachment. For professionals, the thrill comes not from gambling, but from doing the job correctly. They find satisfaction in following their process, protecting capital, and letting probabilities play out. This business-like approach strips away the need for constant emotional spikes and builds the foundation for long-term success. The irony is that amateurs who chase excitement often burn out and quit, while professionals who embrace boredom and discipline quietly build wealth. Trading isn't supposed to feel like a roller coaster. It's supposed to feel like a well-run business, steady, focused, and sustainable. The lesson is clear. If you treat trading like a game, it will take your money like a casino. If you treat it like a profession, it can reward you like a career. Emotions are the silent killers of most trading accounts. Amateur traders often let fear and greed dictate their every move. When the market drops, and fear pushes them to exit too soon. When the market rallies, greed tempts them to add risk beyond their plan. Their decisions swing with every tick of the chart, and this emotional turbulence prevents consistency. For amateur, trading becomes a constant emotional battle. A single red candle can feel like disaster. A single green candle feels like victory. This roller coaster of feelings not only drains their mental energy, but also leads to impulsive actions, revenge trading after losses, chasing setups out of fear of missing out, or holding losers out of denial. Professional traders, in contrast, understand that emotions will always exist, but they don't let emotions control their actions. They've built systems and rules precisely to protect themselves from fear and greed. Instead of reacting impulsively, they rely on their trading plan. By sticking to predefined entries, stops, and targets, they reduce the need to feel what to do. Objectivity is their shield. Professionals view trades not as personal victories or failures, but as data points. A loss isn't shame, it's feedback. A win isn't glory, it's part of the process. This detachment allows them to stay calm in volatility and execute consistently over time. The difference is, striking amateurs live in constant emotional chaos, while professionals build calm structures that allow probabilities to work. In the end, success in trading isn't about eliminating emotions, but about mastering them. When you trade with objectivity, you stop being a victim of the market and start becoming a strategist. At first glance, trading seems to be all about numbers, charts, indicators, price level, and statistics. Many beginners believe that if they just master the math, they'll automatically succeed. But professional traders know a deeper truth: trading is, above all, a psychological game. The market doesn't test your math skills, it tests your ability to manage uncertainty, risk, and emotion. Every trade forces you to face fear of loss, greed for more, and the temptation to break your own rules. The real challenge isn't reading the chart. It's controlling yourself while reading it. Think about it. Two traders can look at the same chart and see the same signals. One executes calmly, following the plan. The other hesitates, overthinks, or acts impulsively. The difference in results has nothing to do with the chart itself, but everything to do with mindset. Professional traders accept that emotions will always exist. The goal isn't to eliminate them, but to manage them. They build routines, journals, and risk rules to stay objective. They know that the moment emotions take control, logic disappears, and so does consistency. By mastering their own psychology, they turn the market into a numbers game once again. With fear and greed in check, probabilities can finally work as intended. This is why the phrase trading is 80% psychology, 20% mechanics rings true. Systems and strategies matter. But without mental strength, they collapse under pressure. In the end, trading isn't a war against the market. It's a war against yourself. The numbers on the screen are neutral. What turns them into profit or loss is the way your mind interprets and reacts to them. One of the most important mindset shifts for becoming a successful trader is learning to see losses not as failures, but as the cost of doing business, just like a shop pays rent or a restaurant buys ingredients. Traders must pay the cost of losing trades. It's not personal, it's simply part of the game. Amateur traders often take losses emotionally. They see every red trade as proof they are not good enough, or as a sign their system is broken. This mindset causes them to fear losses, avoid valid setups, or worse, hold on to losers in the hope of saving face. The result is usually more pain and bigger drawdowns. Professional traders, however, understand that losses are inevitable. They accept them quickly and keep them small through risk management. To them, a losing trade doesn't mean the process is wrong. It just means probabilities played out as expected. No strategy wins 100% of the time. What matters is how the trader handles the other side of the probabilities. By treating losses as business expenses, professionals stay emotionally detached. A $200 loss isn't a failure. It's like paying rent for the opportunity to run the business. As long as the overall plan generates profits in the long run, the expenses are justified. This mindset gives professionals incredible resilience. Instead of obsessing over avoiding losses, they focus on executing their edge consistently. Over hundreds of trades, their discipline ensures that wins outweigh losses. The key lesson is this: if you fight losses, you fight reality. But if you accept them as the natural cost of trading, you free your mind to focus on what truly matters: consistency, discipline, and long-term growth. Losing trades are painful, but they carry valuable information. For professional traders, every loss is more than just a cost. It's feedback. It tells them something about their system, their execution, or the market conditions. Instead of rejecting losses, they study them, turning pain into progress. Amateurs, however, often waste their losses. They either ignore them completely or overreact emotionally. Some pretend the loss never happened, refusing to review it. Others spiral into self-blame, convinced they are bad traders. In both cases, the opportunity to learn is lost. Professionals take a different approach. They keep detailed trading journals, recording entries, exits, reasoning, and emotions. After a loss, they review. Was the trade aligned with their strategy? Did they follow rules correctly? Was the loss due to normal variance, or a mistake they can fix? This structured reflection transforms losses into lessons. Sometimes, the data shows that the system itself needs improvement. Other times, the system is fine, but the trader failed to execute. Both insights are critical. Without analyzing losses, it's impossible to know whether the problem lies in the method or in the mindset. By treating losses as data, traders build resilience. Each loss becomes less of a personal failure and more of a stepping stone toward mastery. Over time, this habit compounds into a refined system, sharper discipline, and greater confidence. The truth is simple: you can't eliminate losses, but you can make them work for you. If you ignore them, they stay as pain. If you analyze them, they become progress. The fastest way to blow up a trading account is not a series of small losses. It's one massive loss that wipes out weeks, months, or even years of progress. That's why professional traders are obsessed with controlling small losses before they grow into catastrophic ones. Every strategy has losing trades. They are unavoidable, But what separates professionals from amateurs is how they respond. Professionals cut losses quickly, keeping them small and manageable. Amateur, on the other hand, let losses run. They move stop losses just a little further, hoping the market will turn. What starts as a minor setback often snowballs into disaster. Think of it like a small fire. If you put it out immediately, it's no big deal. But if you ignore it, the flames spread, and soon the entire house burns down. Small losses are the same. Handled early, they are harmless. Ignored, they can destroy everything. Controlling small losses also has a psychological benefit. When losses stay small, traders remain calm and confident. They can move to the next trade without emotional baggage. But when a loss becomes too large, it leaves scars: fear, hesitation, and revenge trading. This emotional damage is often worse than the financial damage. Professional traders know survival is the first priority. They don't aim to avoid losses, but to keep them under control. By respecting stop losses and never risking too much on a single trade, they protect their capital. And with capital intact, they always have the chance to recover and grow. The key lesson: you don't need to fear losses, you need to fear big losses. Control the small ones, and the big ones never arrive. One of the most defining traits of professional traders is that they never enter a trade without a clear plan. For amateur, trading often feels spontaneous. They see a setup, feel a rush of excitement, and jump in without thinking ahead. But professionals know that preparation is what separates consistency from chaos. A proper trading plan answers 3 essential questions before entering any trade. Where will I enter? Where will I exit if I'm wrong? Where will I take profit if I'm right? By setting these rules in advance, professionals eliminate the need to make emotional decisions in the heat of the moment. This planning doesn't just include technical levels. It also involves risk management. Professionals decide exactly how much of their capital to risk, usually a small, controlled percentage. This way, no single trade has the power to destroy their account. For them, survival is always the top priority. Amateur, on the other hand, often skip planning. They enter trades with vague ideas like, I'll get out if it looks bad, or I'll take profit when it feels enough. These undefined rules leave room for emotions to take over. Fear makes them exit too early. Greed makes them hold too long. And hesitation keeps them stuck in losing positions. By having a plan, professionals shift the game from reaction to execution. They don't need to guess or improvise, they just follow their predefined steps. This structure creates discipline, and discipline creates consistency. The lesson is clear. Trading without a plan is gambling. Trading with a plan is business. Professionals know the difference, and that's why they last. Amateur traders often approach the market without a structured plan. Instead of preparing in advance, they act on instinct, hunches, or raw emotions. A chart looks bullish, a friend mentions a hot tip, or they simply feel like it's a good moment to trade. These decisions are made on impulse, not logic. The problem with trading this way is inconsistency. Without predefined rules, amateurs constantly change their approach. One day, they chase breakouts. The next they try mean reversion. And the day after that, they scalp for tiny moves. This lack of structure means they can't measure results or know whether their system actually works. Even worse, emotions dominate their decisions. Without a plan, fear tells them to exit too early. Greed convinces them to hold too long. And frustration drives them to revenge trade. Every choice becomes reactive, based on the current candle, instead of proactive, based on a tested process. Professional traders, in contrast, know that feelings are unreliable. That's why they rely on written plans and strict rules. By having clear entries, exits, and risk limits. They reduce the space for emotions to interfere. The lesson here is clear. Trading on impulse may feel exciting in the moment, but it is unsustainable. Without a plan, amateurs gamble with their capital. With a plan, traders build consistency, and consistency is the foundation of success. One of the most important mindset shifts for becoming a successful trader is learning to see losses not as failures, but as the cost of doing business, just like a shop pays rent or a restaurant buys ingredients. Traders must pay the cost of losing trades. It's not personal, it's simply part of the game. A written plan changes everything by deciding entry, exit, and risk in advance. Traders remove the need to think emotionally in the heat of the moment. The plan becomes the authority, not their feelings. When the market moves against them, they don't panic. They simply follow the stop loss. When the market moves in their favor, they don't get greedy. They follow the target. This structure allows traders to act consistently, regardless of market noise. Discipline is no longer a struggle of willpower, but a natural byproduct of sticking to the plan. In short, the plan doesn't just guide actions, it protects the trader from themselves. Many beginners enter the market, dreaming of a big win, one perfect trade that will make them rich overnight. They chase jackpots, doubling down on risky setups, convinced that one trade can change everything. While it's possible to hit a big win, this mindset almost always ends in disaster. Professional traders know the truth. Trading is not about one massive hit, but about small, consistent gains accumulated over time. Success comes from repeating a process with discipline, not from gambling on luck. Consistency means sticking to your rules, keeping risk small, and letting probabilities work across hundreds of trades. One trade does not define a trader. A series of disciplined trades, however, builds a long-term edge that compounds into real wealth. The irony is that chasing big wins often destroys accounts, while aiming for consistency quietly grows them. In trading, steady progress beats sudden glory every single time. One of the greatest secrets of successful traders is their understanding of compounding. They know that wealth in trading is not built through a few lucky wins, but through consistent growth that multiplies over time. Compounding works like this. A trader earns a small, steady return and reinvests it. The next profits are made not only on the original capital, but also on the accumulated gains over months and years. This snowball effect creates exponential growth. Amateurs often ignore compounding because they are impatient. They want quick riches and underestimate the power of steady gains. But professionals think long-term. They know that protecting capital and achieving consistent returns, even small ones, will eventually create significant wealth. The key is discipline, managing risk, avoiding large drawdowns, and allowing time to do its work. When combined with patience, compounding turns ordinary results into extraordinary ones. In trading, compounding isn't just a strategy, it's the very foundation of lasting success. A trading career is not defined by one lucky trade or one bad mistake. It is built over thousands of trades, across years of practice, discipline, and learning. Amateurs often look for the moment, a single opportunity that will change everything. But professionals know that no single trade makes or breaks them. Each trade is just one step in a much larger journey. By focusing on the long run, professional traders avoid the trap of overreacting to short-term wins or losses. They understand that the edge of a strategy only reveals itself through repetition. One trade means nothing. 1,000 disciplined trades mean everything. Trading is not about glory in one instant. It is about resilience, patience, and the ability to keep executing day after day. Trading is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Amateurs often try to get rich quickly, pushing for fast results. But this mindset usually leads to burnout or blown accounts. Professional traders understand that success comes from endurance. They pace themselves, focusing on consistency rather than speed. Just like a marathon runner conserves energy to finish strong, traders protect their capital and build discipline to last for years. The market will always offer new opportunities. There is no need to rush. By thinking long-term, traders avoid impulsive risks and allow compounding and discipline to work in their favor. In trading, patience is not weakness, it's the ultimate strength.